Hi, welcome to day 4. Today we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about a communication model that will be really useful for you, just in order to figure out what's going on in terms of communication and to be responsible for your own communication. Why do you want to be responsible for your own communication? I tell you why. Because you don't want to be a victim. You don't want to be a victim of your own circumstances. You want to be in control of your reality, of your world. We talked a lot about reality and what is your truth. This is part of it. So let's have a look at what I've started here on the whiteboard. So we're calling this the above the line and below the line communication model. Above the line, I've written down oar. You know, the oar with which you paddle and you get forwards. Yeah? Make some progress. And then down here I've written bed. That's pretty much the bed you make yourself. So this is a way to remember it. Now, above the line communication, the O stands for ownership. So what that means is you're taking ownership in your communication. You're taking ownership for the things you said you were going to do. You're taking ownership for anything that wasn't properly communicated in the conversation, anything that you can take ownership for. Yeah? It's not a bad thing. A stands for accountable. If you say you're doing something and then you didn't, take ownership, be accountable. You know, stand for what you said you're going to do, and always look in your communication for how could I help the situation, how could I forwarded it, how could I have progressed it. Don't look at everybody else, look at what you could have done. Okay? R stands for response able. Now notice that I didn't say responsibility, I said response able. And this is the big difference between above the line communication and below the line communication. Taking ownership, being accountable and being response able in communication means that you are responding. Hope you can read my writing. Responding. Okay? You are responding versus reacting. So what would be a reaction? So a reaction would be if I'm impulsive, if I react in a conversation without thinking, maybe I start to blow, maybe I just get really angry, maybe I say something that I regret later on. That is being reaction. That's a reaction, that's being reactive. When you are communicating below the line, this is what happens. You're reacting. You're not responding, you're not thinking about what you are communicating and how you are communicating and how it comes across to the other person. You are just basically reacting, and reacting is always a bad idea. Reacting is a bad idea because most of the time, once you've finished saying what you wanted to say, you regret it. The other thing is that in this situation here, you're going to become the victim. So down here you are the victim. Up here you are the hero or the victor. Okay? So now the BED, the bed, what do you think that stands for? It's pretty obvious for most people by now. It is blame, it is excuse, and it is denial. So these three different forms of communication, blame, excuse, and denial, have you react in a communication. And that is what makes you the victim, because all of a sudden you're no longer in control of your communication. That's why you end up in a situation where you regret what you said, you wish the whole conversation would have gone a different way. So you want to stay above the line in your communication. You want to take ownership for what you say, you want to be accountable for what you said you're going to do, and you want to be response able. You want to have yourself enough under control to really think about what you're saying and how you're coming across. Now this is not something that happens overnight. This is not something that you will just be able to do just now, just from understanding this model. This is like going to the gym. It's like a muscle that you have to train. Once you understand how it works, you just get better and better and better at it. And the key to this is that every time you communicate from below the line and you said something you regret, the key is to apologize to the other person. The moment you realize that you're communicating below the line, just basically turn around and say like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I was reacting, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to react. That was just the wrong way how it came out. Apologizing, as long as it is authentic, is always the best way, trust me. And what will happen when you apologize and when you make people aware that you reacted and that's not how you want to be, it builds trust, it makes you more likable, it will actually increase your influence, your popularity, people will like you more, they will feel that you are somebody who takes ownership, is accountable, and is responsible. That is how people like people to be. And especially when you're looking for a job, or you're later on, maybe you're in a career already, or maybe you're just still at school, this is what people in the work life are looking for. They're looking for people up here. Because what happens up here is that you are focusing on a solution, right? Here you're focusing on a solution, and down here you're basically focusing on, on the problem, that's right. On the problem, that's what you're focusing on. So the difference is, when I'm working with teams and we are running into problems, I don't want to hear whose fault it was. The team stands together, the team holds together, so all I want to hear is, how do we get out of the mess? What is the solution? What can everybody contribute, and what can everybody take on and say, next time when we're in a situation like that, what are you willing to take on? What are you willing to take ownership for? What are you willing to be accountable for? And how are you going to be responsible? And we all understand that this is something that requires training. It is not something that happens overnight. But if you and people around you, if they have learned the above the line and below the line communication model, it makes a huge difference for the people around you as well. Because all of a sudden what happens is that, when you're communicating, somebody's going to say like, hey, you're below the line. And everybody knows what that means. So it actually helps when friends of yours, when they understand that, and it's almost like you make a contract with your friends and you say, this is how I want to communicate from now on. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be, mucked around. I want to be in control of my reality. I want to be in control of my world. Well, this is the beginning. This is where it all starts, and the way you communicate. So I hope this all makes sense. We'll go a little bit more into it in the next few days. But yeah, take that in and really remember when you are communicating above the line or when you are communicating below the line. And just stick to it religiously, train, practice as much as you can. That's the key to a lot. It's a key to a lot of success as well. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.